welcome back to the Second Shift Review. We're here coming at you live.
We're not live.
Yeah.
We're talking about Super Troopers. Spoilers.
Spoilers. You got them.
Here it is.
You won 'em.
What does that look like to you? Oh, yeah. Is the bear? Is the guy? Yeah. Seems more of a game warden thing to me. It's illegal, Burton. I know that. Let's do this. Yeah. Hey, whoa, whoa!
Yeah.
Snozberries.
Snozberries.
Messing with people. Messing with stoners. That kid eats a whole bunch of weed and shrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Was he?
Freak out.
I remember he was high, but I didn't.
And then they keep doing the
Mushroom.
repeater.
Yeah, the repeaters.
And he's freaking out.
So what happens in that scene is...
Would you mind stepping down from there? Is your license and registration?
Sure, I was just
Good morning.
kind of...
Would you mind stepping down from there with your license and registration?
Yeah, no problem.
Excuse me 1 second. No.
Excuse me 1 second. No?
That was pretty funny, but also that meow part.
Meow, yeah.
Yeah, we know people that do that like
yeah.
all the
Like,
time,
yeah.
whenever they, and it just goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
You know.
Like right meow.
Yeah.
The
let's
story
start
starts
that
off with crazy antics, so you expect right off the bat that it's going to get just don't even take these guys seriously.
And also during this whole thing, there's one of the Super Troopers is having a relationship that's starting to
yeah, with
Form
one
a
of the state troopers
relationship.
is starting to
with
start a
one of the
relationship with
Spurberry
the
PDs.
local police. Her name's Ursula, and his name's Foster. He's been on the force quite a while, along with Mac and Thorny. Rabbit is the newcomer, and Farva, the big old idiot, is not on the force right now, which they keep referring to an incident that happened with a school bus as the reason he's not on the road right now.
Mm-hmm. Farva's got a really short temper.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Whenever he gets in
He
a
just
fight with
blows
that
out of-
cashier or whatever.
He also lives in his own world.
Yeah.
Like,
He gets in a fight with the cashier because like they cut a hole in his drink or
Yeah.
something.
well,
He thought they'd like spit on his burger.
he kept talking down to him.
They
and,
said like a
ordering him
cop burger.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Don't spit in my burger."
Yeah.
And then after he gets it, he's like, "Does it look like spit to you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh well."
Yeah.
And then he after this is later after he's got put up back on the force. He flips out on the burger guy and tackles him, and then starts throwing burgers at him. And the Thorny has to like drag him off.
Yeah.
Which then he gets permanently taken off the force. And he's like, "That's it, never again. You're going to be my cleaning lady." The commissioner guy or the chief of police. So then we move into they pull over a semi, and
This is where it gets juicy in the movie.
they play the
that's a good
repeater
part.
game. And like idiots, both of them climb into the back
Yeah.
to try and inspect what's in the trailer.
Like,
And
I
so
don't
he just
know. This
instantly
movie
locks them
doesn't-
inside and leaves them.
yeah. He
And
just runs away.
they discovered there's a lot of soap and marijuana inside.
My favorite part is when they have the picture of him and the one dude is just enhance.
Yeah,
Enhance.
it's a callback to Blade Runner.
I haven't seen
I
Blade
know.
Runner. I thought I knew it was from something.
Like in Blade Runner, he's all
Yeah.
serious. He's like enhance, and they just keep enhancing because it's in the future, and they can just keep enhancing. He's doing it like because he can't enhance.
Oh.
Just enhance, enhance. And that's when Farva gets put back on duty, and that's when Farva they do their first traffic stop, and he's like, "Oh, I want to play a game. I want to play a game."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You play this meow game. I'll call him whatever I want. I'll call him a chicken."
Yeah.
He goes up. He goes up there, and the funny thing about that scene is the old couple that's in the van that they pulled over is Farva's the actor's actual parents, and they knew he was gonna yell at him, but they didn't know what. And so he comes up through there and yells, and calls him a chicken. They're all like,
that makes it even better.
They're generally like freaked out. So then they after that he gets the liter of cola and then tackles the burger guy and gets kicked off the force again.
Yep.
That's when Farva gets arrested because he attacks the burger guy and gets thrown in the local jail, and they, for some reason,
Farva is
the
coolest character in the whole movie.
They somehow for some reason treat him like it's the Shawshank Redemption, and they're like hosing him down, butt naked, and then they throw.
I haven't seen Shawshank Redemption.
I know you haven't.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. We're gonna remedy that very soon. They in Shawshank Redemption they hose all the newcomers down and then they throw delousing powder on them to get rid of the lice because it's in the 30s. And this they throw powdered sugar on him. And he's like, why did you throw powdered sugar on me? He's like, he's like, why did you throw on me? He's like, it's delousing. It's for the lice. And he's like, it tastes like powdered sugar. And he's like, the lice hate it. And he's like, it's delicious. And then he tries to get him to turn, which he claims he's not going to turn, but I think, judging from later in the story, I think this is at the point where he decides to turn and betray the group. But from this point, they keep saying shenanigans.
Yeah.
He's like, our shenanigans are delightful. Farva's shenanigans are hurtful.
Yeah, if you say that word one more
Yeah, he's like,
time.
you say shenanigans one more time, I'm going to pistol whip you.
Yeah.
And then they get Farva to say it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh.
It's like, oh.
Also, Chief Grady took
Yeah.
credit for all the weed that
Yeah,
was found there.
yeah.
And then Foster thought that Ursula was the one that actually betrayed him and gave the location and all that.
Yeah. Then they test out their bulletproof cup, which interesting about that scene is they filmed it at an actual prison, and so the actor that plays Mac is really butt naked with a metal cup on in front of this prison, and they said all the prisoners were like pressed up against the window yelling at him.
What the
That's
heck?
crazy.
Well, the distraction they use is the bear distraction.
That part's hilarious. That guy, it was the same, like that dude, before he did that,
Roderick.
yeah, he was supposed to, I don't think he was ever actually on patrol, because
No.
he would have a dummy that he would set in there.
That's
in the
Foster,
driver's-
yeah.
Oh, that's Foster. Oh, yeah, that's
they
right.
look kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foster would just go fishing or whatever and have a dummy in his car that looked like him until it got its head ripped off at the beginning. So it's Mac, the guy that wore the bulletproof cup. It's his Halloween costume that he mentions, and so he let Roderick use it, and it's like this big bear. You can insert a clip. And it looks like he's defouling this bear. And
That's a good word for it.
all the local police are like, are you in any danger? And he's all like,
he looks like this, like,
super redneck.
Yeah.
He has flannel on, and he's like, one of his teeth are blacked out, and he has like this hunting hat on, and he's all just like,
looks like he just got off Jerry Springer show or something.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. They're like, is he okay? I don't know what's going on right now. Then they kind of sober up, and Farva gets loose and intercepts him and says that he is sorry for what he did.
And they put a sex doll on top of Farva's car.
Yeah, they find out that the local cops are the ones helping the drug dealers smuggle all these drugs. And so they need another distraction, and they find out that Farva has a sex doll in his trunk with Ursula written on it. And so they tie that to the hood of his patrol car and tie flares to it and send it off at the officers, and so they shoot the car, and then Thorny and Mac bust out of the back, and a giant brawl ensues, and they start just arresting everybody, and O'Grady and
Don't they meet Farva too, and he's got him
Yeah.
at gunpoint, and they
Yeah.
convince him to help him. So he
Yeah, he's
starts to
like-
get.
he's like, oh, they're after me.
He changes sides back.
So O'Hannigan and Grady get into a fist fight, and O'Grady wins and cuffs him, and they all get arrested and everything. And then a couple of weeks later, they decide that they are still closing, and that kind of ends it. And then you see that they're delivering beer, and they show up at the same party that the stoners from the beginning are at, and they're freaking out at first.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, they got fired, so we can really F with them. So they make them move this giant keg around, and then they bust them because they're undercover cops,
Mm.
and then they make them do a whole bunch of crazy stuff,
Yeah.
which is cool. And then the very ending scene sees the school bus. What happened with the school bus
Mhm.
is he gets taunted by the kids, and then gets on the bus and gets into a giant brawl fighting little kids.
Yeah.
So, another interesting point is that they initially were going to film this movie, and the whole thing was going to take place in the 70s.
Oh.
But then they decided against it because there was a lot more money they would have gone into.
Mm.
Let's give our final thoughts, Gary.
I think it was really good, and I guess everybody else did too because it did pretty good in box offices. They said that the budget on that was like 1.5 to 3 million, and it made like 23 million.
Yeah.
So it's pretty well. But
And it made a lot more than that in DVD sales after that.
oh really?
It's been
That's
like
just
that's its original run.
Yeah.
It's made money, constantly since then. It's been it's super cult classic hit.
yeah, it is really good because like we all know people that do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Still from this movie, you
And
know.
it's like 18 years old at the time. At
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah.
But very quotable. Really
Give me
good.
a quote. Favorite quote.
The meow. Yeah. What do you mean? You want it right meow? Do I quote you right meow?
Where'd you learn that? Drug school?
Yeah.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Yeah.
That's the one you hear all the time.
Yeah. What'd you think about it?
Favorite scene?
I thought it was okay. My favorite scene was probably the opening scene with
Yeah.
the 3 kids. That's probably my favorite scene. But overall, the movie's okay. It's funny. I'd watch it again, but it's not like great.
I think it's really good.
I think you're wrong.
Funny, goofy, classic. Yeah, I recommend it to everybody.
It makes that job look like so much fun.
Oh yeah, it looks like fun.
Yeah.
They,
Looks like
they
just
never
a
do
blast.
any paperwork. They never.
They go fishing and
they
leave.
just do whatever they want,
yeah.
basically. Yeah, it's super slow. Nothing ever goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you rate it, Gary?
What's your final rating?
Final rating.
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 inappropriate bear costumes.
Ethan?
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 school buses.
I'm going to give it a 6.9 empty syrup bottles out of 10.
It's pretty good. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Did I mention subscribe? Watch one of our other videos. Any of them, all of them. Multiple
Annotations,
times.
maybe up there.
They'll be right here.
Erect statues.
Yeah. And we'll catch you next time.